Okay, so first of all, I want to talk to you guys about the helpful notes here and some of the things that from the beginning that we haven't talked about in a while. So all I did was write in the different subsets of numbers, remember, that we talked about. So, and the examples. So natural numbers are like the counting numbers. Whole numbers, same thing, except for you add 0. Integers were the negatives and the positive whole numbers. And then our rational numbers were anything you could write in a fraction, right? The thing about rational is they either have to repeat or they have to stop. And then everything else, like pi, and if they have these 3 dots after it, and if there's a square root that doesn't have a number times itself that equals it, those were all irrational. Does everyone remember that a little bit? I'm going to go over it in the review. This is a list of those perfect square numbers, okay? So here's a hint for you. If the number under the radical sign is not in these lists, then it has to be irrational. Cube root we haven't talked about in a while either, but remember that cube root just means what number times itself again equals whatever's underneath there, and you're going to have to guess and check with your calculator. And then from scientific notation and exponents, remember, if we multiply the bases, we add the exponents. If we divide the bases, we subtract those exponents. And then if we go to the right, we have to minus 1 from the exponent. If we go left, we add 1. Okay, I will put those back up if we need them, but let's start. Oh, okay, stuck. All right, test review in order of some of the things you're going to see on your test, all right? So let's start. The first one, whoa, come on. The first section is all about writing in scientific notation or writing in standard form. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to get my markers. Hold on. And this is the most recent stuff we've been doing. So if it says write 4.962 times 10 to the 6th in standard form, that means we're going to get rid of the times 10 to the 6th and we're going to move the decimal. How many spaces are we going to move the decimal? 6. Left or right? Right. This positive 6 means it should make a big number, a number we want in our bank account. So we're going to do this, 4.962. This is our work. And there it is flashing, sorry. And we're going to move it 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fill those empty spots with zeros. Now, remember, that's not the answer, though. We have to write it. Which decimal do you keep? The one in the middle or the one at the end? The one at the end. So we get 4962000, right? And technically then there's a decimal at the end. And that you double check, is that a number you would want in your bank account? Yeah, so you know you did it right. How about if it's negative? What's the only difference in how we do this? To the left, that's right. So in the end, we're going to look at that number and go, I don't really need that in my bank account. It's not going to help me. So 3.08, 10 to the negative 5 is what we're multiplying by. So we're going to go left 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill with zeros. Okay, this time, which decimal do you keep? The one in the front or the one in the middle? The front decimal. So we're going to keep that front decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros there, 308. Is this, and I'm just saying this because you're going to have a test, is this the same as if I put a 0 here in front? Are these two equivalent? Yes, don't get confused. The 0 in front of a decimal is not going to change the value if there's not a 0 in front, okay? So these are both correct answers. Make sure you realize that. Okay, let's go. Let's shift gears. What if they're given to you in standard form and then you got to go in scientific? All right, let's start with 637,200. So I'm going to scientific. Where's the decimal right now before you even start? Darius, go ahead. We're going to put it there. Yep, you're right. We're going to put it here, but where was it before? Behind the 0. It's at the end. So it starts at the end if we don't see it. So the first part of this answer, what's the first part of this answer then? Yep. 6.372. Do I have to write the zeros or no? Nope. Then what? Times 10 is right. And raise your hand if you can tell me the exponent that this should be. Tina, what is it? It's not 3. Try again. John Ayers. It's 5. Here's why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces from decimal to decimal. That's what we have to remember. So you're not counting zeros. You're not counting commas. You're counting how many numbers from this decimal to this decimal. That's how you get your exponent. And it's got to be positive because would we want $637,200? Oh, yes, we would. Okay, so positive. All right, let's do it again. This time, the zeros are in front. Okay, so where are we going to move that decimal for this one? Isabel, go ahead. Behind the 3, perfect. Remember that first number has to be between 1 and 9, right? Once you hit 10, it's too high. Below 1 is too low. Do we still do times 10? Yeah. Okay, be careful. Who thinks they know the exponent this time for this one? Darius, go ahead. Is -6. Good job. Because this number we don't need in our bank account. It's not going to help us at all, right? So there count the spaces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots, and it is negative. Good job. Any questions on those? Those are pretty straightforward. Here's where these next two I am a little concerned with, okay? So someone answer the door, please. So I want you to maybe put a star by these. Once I explain them, I feel like you're going to definitely know them, but we haven't really done this exact question. So here it is. We're going to start this. Put in the following in order from smallest to largest. Oh, see, and that's glitching again. Okay, so to do that, doing it in scientific notation is not the way. You got to get them all in standard form first. Then you can decide which one's smallest, okay? So let's go. 4.628 times 10 to the 7. How many spaces do I move the decimal? 7. Let's go. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there should be 4 zeros. 4, 6, 2, 8, 0, 0, 0, 0. Ooh, and this will help you if you put your commas back in because we're going to figure out which one's the smallest. How many spaces do I move the decimal for the 2.99? 7 also. Ready? Let's go. 2.99. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This time, there's not 7 zeros, there's 5. 2, 9, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I get that right? Yeah, okay. Put those commas in, because it'll help you. How many on the last one? 6 only. So 8.784. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that gives me 3 zeros. 8, 7, 8, 4, 1, 2, 3. Put those commas in. 1. All right. Now that you have your commas in and you have them written out, which one's the smallest number? Is it the 46,280,000? Is it 29,900,000? Or 8,784,000? Which is the smallest, Casey? That's right. So this one right here is the smallest. Which one is the biggest? Isabel. This one is the biggest, which means that the other one has to be our middle, right? And so on your test, I will tell you they'll be listed, right? The choices will be listed. And so you would pick the one that has this one first, this one second, this one third in the line. Okay, questions on that? All good? All right, so I'm going to do this last one, then I'm going to stop this video because I'm going to do them in chunks, right? Because I only have so much time on the YouTube space, so I have to do them in shorter, so I'll do a video too. All right, this one's harder. Why is this one harder? They're negative, okay? And so we're familiar with like this and knowing like that this is 46,280,000. We're not as familiar with this. So let me show you a strategy. First, take it out, right? So going negative, the 3.8, we're going to move 5 spaces. Started over here though, right? Because we're going which direction now? Left, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'm going to just write them first without writing the answers. 1.1, let's move it out. I'll start over here. How many spaces this time? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last one again, we're going to move out 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, this is a strategy for this question. Line them up by the decimal. All right. So we're going to start with that first guy, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 8. I'm going to do the next one. Point. Now this time I only have 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. And then I'm going to line the next one up. Point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, here is now how you figure out which one is the smallest, okay? So it's kind of like going in order. So looking at this one, right? You have 4 zeros and then a 3. This one you only have 3 zeros and then a 1. This one you have 4 zeros and then a 5, right? So which one do you think is the smallest? Isabel, go ahead. The middle one's actually the biggest. Yes, okay. So this one is the biggest because you get a 1 first, right? This is the first spot. You get all zeros. These two are tied, right? Up to 4 zeros. This one's actually the biggest. Biggest. So which one's the smallest? So they're tied. Then you have a 3 and a 5. Which is smaller, 3 or 5? No, 3 is smaller. This is not negative numbers. They're just small numbers. So we're not going opposite direction. So the 3 is the smallest one. 5 is the middle. Okay. Smallest is the 3. 5 is our middle guy. Okay. So if it's a tie, do it logically. $3 is less than $5, right? So $3 would be our smallest. 5 is our middle. This is our biggest. Okay. So in order, right? So our smallest would be this one. So, because they're going to write it in scientific notation. So this guy's smallest. Our middle was the 541. And our largest was our 1.11. Okay, so this is the first section of our review.